Hey guys, welcome to another class. Today's class is going to be about compounding. So let's get straight into it. So what is compounding? Compounding is the process of reinvesting profits to generate bigger returns over time. It's pretty simple. If you guys look at this graph, you start small and, you add, let's say a percentage of it. Over time, that percentage becomes part of the main whole. And, as you add a percentage of that, the original percentage, it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I know that sounds a little bit confusing, but we're going to get more into that. It's mainly just about small gains too. When we think about compounding, we don't think about really huge plays or 50% increases in your account. We're talking about 1 to 5%, maybe 10% increases daily. And like I said, it's not about hitting a big home run. It's about a steady growth that is more controlled and safer, and something that we can do long term. So Sam's going to explain why it matters in day trading.
All right, guys. Compounding is probably one of the most important things. Not only important, but one of the most powerful things that you can use to your advantage as a day trader or even in any realm as an investor. Compounding is truly magical. We look at compounding in the stance of how much can I make so that I will make more money in the future, right? So it's not that I'm looking right now at this one moment, oh, I can get 50% of my account today. No, if I get 2% every day and I can do that very consistently, maybe with a few losses, without tons of time, eventually with time doing its thing, that $1,000, that 2% daily will become lots of money. So it's really just a snowball effect, guys. Think about the snowball effect. What does a snowball do when it's rolling? It gets bigger, but continuously gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And the bigger it is, when it gets snow stacked on it, it gets bigger. So it's the same thing with compounding. When you make 2% of $1,000, $20 versus $2,000 of $2,000 of $10,000. It's the same thing. That's what 20% is. So it's essentially just about the sizes. And compounding is so important, right? We talked about consistency wins, small daily wins, snowballing effect, risk control. Okay, this is another big one. This literally cuts out the need for super high risk trades, holding on to trades for a whole day. Instead, if you focus on compounding in a long-term sense, compounding interest is what we're talking about, you don't need to do these super high risk trades. All you need is a few percent, like Emmanuel said, 1 to 5% in a day. That could be it. And to be honest, that's very easy to make in the markets, especially knowing a little bit of technical analysis, having good psychology, right? You're not being greedy or anything. Look, I see on the chart, we get double top, I'm going to take puts. When I've hit my 2%, maybe it's 10% on my set contract. Wow, I'm up 2%, easy, done. That's low risk, okay? And exponential growth. Your account can grow just much faster than savings or anything like that if you're just saving your profits and reinvesting. Compounding interest is the entire capital. So that's another thing that you need to know is it's exponential. It's like a U shape. You start little and you get bigger and bigger and bigger. It's exponential rather than a straight line, and that's what makes it truly magical. Okay, now Emmanuel's going to talk to you about the next.
All right. So, this is an example of the compounding effect. How Sam was saying, the 2% of $1,000, like let's say $20, or the same thing if it'd be 200 of $10,000. It stacks up, and it's not necessarily about how much money you're making. It's about the percent of how much money you're making and how consistently you can do it. So, for example, look, only gaining 2% a day, starting with $1,000, after 1 month is $1,800. So, let's think about this. You could easily make 2% a day trading. I mean, you could easily make $20 off of what? One or two $120 calls or puts. So it would only cost you about maybe $300 to do this. And you don't even have to risk half of your account. And you can make probably more than 2% per day. And if you're able to do that consistently, 1 month alone would be $1,800. And 3 months, that's $7,000. Boom. 1 year, that's $140,000 that you made by barely risking anything at all. Like it's kind of crazy when you really think about it. But it's that's the whole point is the consistency and being able to like actually do this and follow through with this with discipline can take you places financially where you probably never thought you could get before. And I just think it's a crazy concept. There was I'm pretty sure one time me and Sam searched up like $1,000, or I think it was 1,000. And if we were to compound that by 10% over like a month or 3 months, it was I'm pretty sure it was either $500,000 in just 3 months, either $500,000 or a little bit over 1 million. That's 10% every day. It's crazy. It's crazy. Obviously we try to set realistic expectations, and that's why we're using this 2%, but you see where we're coming from. So in this graph that we got here, you got the normal steady growth without the compounding. So like no interest, which means like it's not stacking on top of each other. It's just one steady amount. So this is like, for example, if we're getting $200 every single day, boom, 200, 200, 200. That's the yellow graph. The one right above it, this purple one, is how we would see this compounding build up on itself, because not only would we add the 200 that we already made from the previous day to the next day to get a percentage out of that, a locked percentage, it would keep happening over and over and over, and it would just build upwards, almost at an exponential rate, almost. And then back to Sam.
All right, guys. So now we're going to talk about how you can apply compounding in your trade. So we already talked about it quite a bit, but let's start with reinvesting profits. So let your gains work for you. All right, guys. So when you get a win trading, that becomes your new account size. Say I have $1,000 in my account and I win $20. Okay. Now I have $1,020. So instead of getting 2% off of my $1,000, now I'll be getting 2% off my $1,020. And that's how compounding works. So the more you win, the 2% becomes greater and greater and greater and greater and greater, right? So when you're winning and building your account, the small percentages truly become big. And this is another thing. People will look at their small wins and look down upon them and think, oh, this is just a tiny win. This is nothing, right? No, your win is significant. And if you look at your wins like, oh, I need big wins because I have a small account, that's the incorrect way to look at things, because you are going to create a bad trader with yourself. You're going to be a bad trader. Instead, I want you to look at compounding interest. What is 3% if you did that every day for a month? Yeah, maybe you only have $100 in your account. You made $3. Yeah, that sounds like pocket change. But 3% every single day, and you do that for a year, you'll have thousands and thousands of dollars. So it's truly how you want to think about in the long run, rather than just making quick, small, bam profits. All right. Yeah, like I said, small, consistent wins. All right. The key word with trading is consistency. Honestly, everything in life, but consistency. Consistency wins time and time again. Next, manage risk. If you want to be a safe trader who lets compounding interest work for them, manage your risk. Don't be greedy. Be disciplined. We talk about this a lot. Just be disciplined, because compounding interest will work for you if you're just being disciplined. However, if you get really greedy and you start wanting 20% days, then you run the risk of blowing accounts, losing great amounts of money. All right. And stay disciplined, you guys. Stick to the strategy and time will do the rest. So if you stick to the strategy 2% a day, it's just up to time. If you are really good with your technical analysis and you have a whole strategy for your psychology and it's working for you, don't change it up. It's just time has to catch up. Watch where you'll be in 2-3 years. All right. So yeah, Emmanuel.
All right, and that's basically it. The main thing to take away from this, is like Sam was just finished saying. You gotta be consistent, regardless what it is in your whole life. Like you want something, you gotta be consistently working towards that. You want to maintain something, you gotta consistently take care of it. And it's no different when it comes to trading and your wealth, your financial life. Like consistency is what matters, and compounding is one of those things that comes with consistency. And if you know how to do it right, and if you're able to stick with it, it can be extremely rewarding. So for all of those who watch this video, I hope you guys took notes. Notes is gonna help you a lot. It helps you memorize everything better and actually ingrain it in your mind. But apart from that, that's about it for today, guys. Just remember, stay consistent. Small. It's like turtle and the what is it? Turtle and the hare. Slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly.
But I hope you guys have a good rest of your day. Like I said, make sure you guys do take notes, and we'll see you in the next video.